You worked an extra 10 hours this month. You gave up a Saturday you will never get back. You answered the emails. You covered the shift. You pushed through the tiredness. And then the payslip landed, and the net figure at the very bottom had barely moved. 10 hours of your one and only life, and the number that actually reached your account shifted by almost nothing. That is not an accident. That is not you being bad with money. In 2026, the relationship between effort and wealth in Britain has been quietly severed, not by bad luck and not by laziness, but by a hidden architectural math that most people never stop to see. Today, we are going to pull that architecture into the light, because once you understand why working harder has stopped making you richer, you can finally stop running on a machine that was never going to move you forward and start doing the one thing that actually builds wealth in this country. Here is the first uncomfortable truth. As you work harder, you quietly take on a business partner, and that partner is HMRC. Not an equal partner, a senior partner, one who takes a bigger and bigger cut of every additional hour you offer up, without lifting a single finger to earn it. The mechanism has a name: fiscal drag. Your tax-free personal allowance, the slice you keep before HMRC touches anything, has been frozen at £12,570. And it is now frozen all the way through to April 2031. It has not moved with inflation. It has not moved with your rising rent. It simply sits there, locked. So when your wage rises to keep pace with the cost of living, you have not actually been given a pay rise. You have been given a tax rise wearing the costume of a pay rise. The threshold stays still while your salary drifts upward across it, and so a larger share of your income is pruned at 20%, then 40%, than was pruned the year before. Your baseline hours were already taxed. But your extra effort, the overtime, the second job, the weekend you sacrificed, that lands on top, and it gets pruned hardest of all. You are working more. The senior partner is simply keeping more. Let me show you what this actually feels like, because the number on the payslip never tells the whole story. Imagine you are on a beach, building a sandcastle at the water's edge. You are digging faster and faster, earning more, working harder, throwing everything you have into the walls. And for a moment, it feels like progress. The castle is getting bigger, but the tide is coming in. That tide is your fixed costs: council tax, energy standing charges, rent, the weekly shop. And in 2026, that tide is rising faster than you can dig. So no matter how quickly you shovel, the water keeps swallowing the base. You are not building a fortress. You are just fighting, frantically, to stop the floor from disappearing beneath your feet. That is the trap of working harder in a high inflation, high tax environment. All that furious digging, and the sea level is winning. Now here is the part that feels almost designed to punish ambition, because the British system reserves a very special penalty for the exact group it claims to want to encourage, the high-achieving professional. It is called the 60% trap, somewhere between £100,000 and £125,140 of income. Something strange happens. For every £2 you earn inside that band, HMRC begins stripping away £1 of your personal allowance. That allowance melts down to nothing. And when you stack that vanishing allowance on top of the 40% higher rate that you are already paying, the effective tax on that slice of income climbs to 60%. 60%. On the money earned by the very people told all their lives that hard work is the answer. Get the promotion, take on the pressure, cross into six figures, and the system quietly reaches into that stretch of income and takes 60 pence of every pound. And it is not only the six-figure earners who feel the siphon. Consider the graduate professional. As they climb, the deductions begin to stack. Income tax, then national insurance, then student loan repayments layered on top. Once they cross into higher rate territory, those combined marginal siphons can swallow nearly 50% of every additional pound they earn. Half of the reward for climbing gone before it ever reaches them. This is the great, unspoken feeling of the modern British middle class, the sense that the harder you push, the more invisible hands appear to take their share. So if effort is being pruned this heavily, who exactly is winning? Here is the answer, and it will change how you see everything. While you are working your 40 hours a week, clocking in, clocking out, taking your lunch break, paying your national insurance, a brick wall in London is also working. A global index fund is also working, but they never clock out. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They never get tired. They never pay national insurance. They never take a holiday. Think about the scale of it. In parts of the home counties in the southeast, a single house has, in 1 year, appreciated by more than the entire annual take-home pay of the median worker. Read that again. A pile of bricks, sitting still, doing nothing, out-earned a human being who worked every single day of that year. That is the silent divide at the heart of 2026 Britain. Labour is taxed heavily, taxed early, taxed on every hour. Assets are taxed lightly, and they compound while you sleep. You are trading your finite hours for money. The asset owner is trading nothing, and getting richer anyway. And this is why so many people feel a strange, exhausting stillness, no matter how fast they run. Picture an invisible elastic band. One end is tied around your waist, the other end is anchored, firmly, to the 2026 cost of living. Your career is the engine, powerful, roaring, pulling you forward. So you run, you earn more, you chase the next rung. But the further you run, the tighter that band stretches. The cost of living pulls back with exactly the force of your progress. Your legs are burning, your lungs are screaming, you are giving it everything. And when you finally look up, you are perhaps 3 inches further forward than you were 5 years ago. You feel it on any quiet morning. The moment you open your banking app, glance at the balance, and feel that quiet, hollow confusion. I earn more than I ever have. So why does none of it seem to stay? That feeling is not in your head. It is the elastic band. It is the sensation of trading your vitality, your health, your weekends, your years, for a currency that is losing its buying power faster than you can pile it up. So what do you actually do? You cannot outrun an elastic band, you cannot outdig the tide, and you certainly cannot outwork a senior partner who takes 60 pence of your best pounds. You stop trying, and instead, you flip a switch. Call it the manual override. It is the deliberate shift from earned income to asset income, from money you have to show up and bleed for to money that works whether you are awake or asleep, whether you clock in or not. Because here is the quiet secret. The silent winners already know. The goal in 2026 is not to run faster. The goal is to stop running and start owning. And Britain, for all its fiscal drag, hands you 2 powerful tools to do exactly that. 2 legal ways to fire your senior partner from part of your future. The first is the ISA. Every year, you can shelter a meaningful slice of your money inside it, and everything that grows in there, the interest, the dividends, the gains, grows completely outside HMRC's reach. No tax on the growth. No tax when you take it out. It is a walled garden the senior partner is not allowed to enter. The second is the SIP, your self-invested personal pension. This is the long game. Money you put in is topped up with tax relief at your marginal rate. And for the higher earners caught in that 60% trap, the SIP is one of the sharpest tools in the entire system for clawing that money back from the taper. Together, the ISA and the SIP let you do the one thing the system never wanted you to work out: decouple your future from the partnership. You take your heavily taxed labour and you quietly convert it, year after year, into assets that work the 24-hour shift on your behalf, untouched, compounding, free. So let us be clear about what we have learned. Working harder in 2026 in Britain is a strategy for survival. It keeps the tide off the sandcastle. It keeps you 3 inches ahead of the elastic band. It is not nothing, but it will never, on its own, set you free. Owning assets is a strategy for freedom. It is the moment the math stops working against you and starts working for you. Because true wealth in this country was never about outworking the system. The system is built so that you cannot. True wealth is the day you stop trying to outrun the math and start quietly making the math run for you. Stop digging, start owning. If this video helped, like and hit subscribe. See you in the next one.